Hello there, chums. This is nCaptainSteve, and I'm just doing a quick review of the latest update, the Living Ships update. So, the Living Ships update starts off with you trying to build a living ship. Now, you need to get quite a fair few different body parts for your ship. And to do so, the missions are fairly similar. You have to go to an area of space that the egg wants you to go to, find a planet of the egg's choosing, and then you have to follow coordinates to get to the actual point that you pick up body parts that you then stuff into some sort of monolith or station or something. Say monolith, it's more like those little plaques, or a boundary failure or something similar, and it's quite difficult to actually home in on these actual locations. But what I would say is it has made me use these locations a little bit more. It's made me play in a very different sort of way. It has been frustrating at times, but at the rest of the time it's been pretty rewarding. But we'll get on to the rewards later, because yeah, it takes about 5 days to actually build your ship if you're doing it the legit way. Some people have managed to work out ways of doing it the non-legit way, which they disconnect from the internet and mess with their calendar settings. However, I have heard a few people say that it has broken their iteration, and it's probably not a great thing to do. So yeah, it's best to actually do it all manually, find your way around, and I am wondering whether these coordinates and this new sort of way of playing might be something that we see in a future edition. Perhaps they're looking to see whether people and players can actually find coordinates, because maybe they might place treasure, or they might do something else in the future that encourages people to use the navigational panels of their ships a heck of a lot more than we do already. And to be honest, I quite enjoyed homing in on those locations. I mean, yes, it did get a little bit tedious, but there was a 24-hour delay in between. If I was doing nothing but that, yes, it would have been quite difficult if it was mission after mission, but it wasn't. They broke it up quite well. The 24-hour delay for me was fine. I have seen other people in my comments putting down a few comments of their own to say very different in how they felt about that sort of delay. But for me, it gave me something to look forward to and something to play towards. And I actually welcomed it. I quite liked it. So yeah, the actual missions, the actual way it's all staged out was really nice. I really liked the lore. Now there's some interesting bits of lore there, so spoilers are in this video. So yeah, some of the lore, it sort of hints that you're using souls to power these ships or to bring them into life, which is a bit unusual. And I'm wondering whether they're playing on the River of Styx, the dimension in between life and death, that other sort of dimension. And yeah, maybe there might be something to that. So I'll be putting out a speculation video later this week, probably on the Saturday, with my green screeny type of way. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to play into Hades and maybe the Furies and things like that, but we can only but hope. I mean, a lot of the iterations that we've got up in the Nexus, they're all the good guys from Greek mythology. Let's see some bad guys. That'd be freaking awesome. But what if we are the bad guys? But then again, I'm going to hold this off for the speculation video that I'm doing around Saturday. So this update, it didn't just bring us living ships, it also brought us some new tech and some new blueprints, like the Soul Chamber, for example. And also there was a solar array type thing to turn metal into liquid sun, which is mental. And then there's an animus beam as well, which I've got a lot to say on the Saturday about that as well. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff there. Not just the living ship, but the living ship was freaking epic and it was awesome. And I love the living ship. It looks beautiful. But what I would say is it hasn't got much storage space. And the storage space it has got is kind of higgledy-piggledy. It's all over the place. So it's very hard to align your tech, even in the actual chamber of the ship, where you can put all the organs in to build out your tech. It's not that customizable. It's a little bit awkward to get your tech in there in a way that it makes sense and actually boosts the ship to its maximum capacity. And there doesn't seem to be a way currently on how to get around that or how to change it up at all. Now, because this is a living, breathing ship, what I would love to see is that the more that you use it, the more slots that you unlock, the more XP that you gain. And then you get modules that way, because at the moment the way that you get modules is to just pulse around in space aimlessly and just hope that something randomly spawns that gives you a module, which is a little bit random game for me. There's no skill involved in that, it's just luck. Now, I'm not really a fisherman, I'm not really a king fisherman to be honest, but there's people out there that are into that sort of thing and would welcome that. It's like, yes, I've just got something awesome, it's random, awesome, cool. I mean, you know, I'm kind of past that. I don't really get much out of that way of playing, but that's just myself. So it's a choice really. Do I continue using a ship that's very random in the way that you play the game, or not? And I'm probably going to stick with the older ships. There's also quite a lot of bugs. It's like this one. I just emerged from a portal and I go to look for my ship and it's off planet. So this is a new bug. Yep, it hinders play a bit. I've also got some pop issues. My freighter, from time to time, I see the rear end of it, and it doesn't actually fully render until I've flown all the way in. I was trying to show my friend my frigate fleet and freighters, and this is what I actually showed them in the end, and it was like, okay, yep, it doesn't normally look like that. So, yeah, there was that. And also, I've always had problems with trading posts not rendering, but now I'm even having problems with monoliths not rendering. I go to a monolith or a ruined site, and all I can see is the knowledge stones at first. And then when I get closer to them, this is a weird thing, the knowledge stones disappear as well, and all I can see is like the ring. It looks like, you know, those things that you get when you're blowing bubbles. It looks like that. So it's not great. I've actually seen a worse rendering problems than before, and yet the patch notes say quite the opposite. It says that they've improved all the rendering issues, but I'm still seeing a fair share of rendering bugs. So there's that. Now this update hasn't just brought bugs, it's brought a lot of interesting stuff in space. Now this interesting stuff in space, as you're pulsing around looking for these modules for your new living ship, sometimes you're going to come across some pretty interesting sites, like numbering stations, little things like portals that take you to a random point in space, atlas message things that give you a message, or something that you destroy and it puts cursed objects inside your inventory space that if you don't sell it, it curses you and something will hunt you down. I sold the stuff. Maybe I should have kept it, but yeah, it's interesting. There's something interesting in space every now and again when you're randomly pulsing around, but what I would say is you bump into a lot of abandoned freighters. Now these abandoned freighters right now serve nothing but as like eye candy, because you can't pick up any sort of salvage from them or any sort of modules or anything like that. So I'm hoping that they bring out a new ship module that gives you some sort of salvage scanner, or I don't know, tractor beam or something. Tractor beam would be good, or even like a mechanical arm to grab stuff off the freighters. I don't know, because at the moment I'm just seeing the freighters like, oh, crash freighter, and off I go. I mean, the first couple I saw were amazing. Some of these space creatures, they're awesome. I like the space creatures, and what I do like about this random system as you're pulsing around is Hello Games could sneak all sorts of stuff in there whenever they feel like it. They could add some new creatures, space whales, or new items that we've never seen before, something they've made on their lunch break that's freaking spectacular, which, yeah, I quite welcome that. But at the same time, if I found a giant like jellyfish like that and I wanted to go and say, find a humping turtle duck, go and check this out, or PT, come on and have a look at this, or whoever, you know, and I invite them into my game to take a look at something, I'm not going to be able to show them it, because it only appears there for that brief amount of time that you see it. It's just there randomly. It'd be nice if each system had maybe, I know, 3 things that would spawn there, so as long as you're pulsing around, you are going to see it appear every now and again. So yeah, that I don't know how they can improve upon this, but I just felt that it was very random. Although space feels a little bit more alive now, it just feels like random in space. It doesn't matter what system you're in, you've got the same chance of seeing the same thing I've seen. It's like I've seen a lot of screenshots going up on Twitter of things people have seen, and now I have seen quite a lot of the things that have been seen by other players. It's random. It's kind of cool, but at the same time it'd be nice if it was limited to certain systems, maybe in the uncharted systems or something. I don't know, but it just doesn't feel 100% right, and the whole thing of having to pulse to get your ship stuff just didn't feel on point to me, really. It feels a little bit too random, not very much skill involved, so I'm scoring this as an 8.1. It's great, but it's not as great as it could have been. And if you wish to support my channel, you can do so by heading over to Patreon. There is a tier there for pretty much everyone, including ship models. These 10 lucky chappies are getting ship models, spanking new Patreons, and yeah, here's all my other Patreon backers, spanking new Patreons. And new to the channel is YouTube membership. Hurry on over, see if it appeals to you, thanking you. Okay, drop in a super chat or a donation also helps me towards getting my goal, which is a PlayStation 5 and bringing you next gen. Or head on over to Teespring, grab yourself a gnarly mug or a t-shirt, that'll be sweet. Or just hit a like, subscribe, or hit the notification bell. You can click one of these to stay with the channel a little bit longer, or just don't skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Goodbye!